Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another live stream coming to you from a beautiful day in Portugal. My name is Heidi. This is Toby.
Hi.
Sorry, he said your name for you.
It's all right.
So today we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We're already back here again. Last time we went live was on Monday. Today we're here to talk about oil prices, the 10-year bonds, the unemployment rate, and also global trade, bailouts. A lot of things are developing as we're all just here kind of being spectators as to what is happening with this global economy amidst this, quarantine thing happening and what that's doing to the economy. So kick it off, Toby. What are we talking about today?
I mean, there's so much to talk about right now. I try to put a bunch of news stuff together, and I mean, the news just keeps coming in like every 20 minutes. And so I have on my phone, it's a bunch of notes written down. So it's kind of like, it's all over the place, but I'll try to make it as organized as possible. Okay. So pretty much we've all heard the news that 2.8 million Americans have lost their jobs, and that's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Huge spike as to what's average.
And like, that is when, people are trying to get unemployment. Like, they're not able to actually, a lot of people aren't able to get on unemployment right now. So like, those numbers are way higher, like by the hour. So. Oh,
you're talking about the tweet from Omar.
Yeah.
He's talking. Can you read that tweet?
Yeah. So Omar Bam from Crypto, he says, pretty much a $1,200 bribe. I'll go over what that is. It's pretty much like a check that the government's going to give you guys to the American people. It's an amount that says, take this and STFU while we do the real bailouts. Okay, thanks. And he says, P.S. I'm reading reports of countless people who can't actually even file for unemployment because the phone lines are tied up. The situation is much worse. So
just the reported unemployment, those who were successfully able to gain be reporting their unemployment.
Yeah, like there's going to be ridiculous amounts of unemployment.
Yeah, but
coming in.
And yet the stock market is doing okay.
Oh yeah.
How is that possible? Please tell me.
I mean, yeah, with the 10-year and oil dropping, the stock market continues to go up, or at least it was yesterday. So that means that the Fed's just going in and buying up.
Yeah. So people are calling it a decoupling of the stock market versus
it's going to do whatever it does.
The health of the economy. So it is officially not an indicator for the health of the economy.
Oh no, it's totally fake. 100% fake. There's nothing real anymore in the U.S. market. Nothing. That's it. Done. Like, graphs don't work or charts won't work. Anything. Doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want. They're owning everything. And I just heard that Kramer on CNBC is urging people to buy stocks because it's cheap. Oh my gosh, where have we heard that before? Back, I think, Lehman Brothers, he was telling people, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. A couple days later, poof, just implodes. So yeah, this is like nuts. And this is kind of like the same thing as happened in 2008, but this is like magnified. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about what Andreas Antonopoulos had to say about the unemployment?
Okay.
Because try to keep it a little
bit. No, absolutely. Yeah. So Andreas Antonopoulos, he's like one of my favorite crypto guys out there. He tweeted and he said, when you digest the sheer size of 3 million plus unemployed who lost jobs this week, now remember, they also lost their health care because it's tied to employment in the middle of a pandemic.
Oh, but don't worry.
Here's a $1,200 check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gosh, man, these people are just psychotic.
$1,200 per family.
Yeah, this is out of a $6 trillion bailout package or stimulus package, money printing package. That's what stimulus, quantitative easing, whatever they say, it's just money printing. That's all it is. It's money printing.
And so that they're adding to their balance sheet. And so now to balance that balance sheet, they're required to be acquiring assets in exchange roughly for that amount of money that they're printing. So Mike Maloney, in the video description here, you guys can check out a video of Mike Maloney that I posted talking about how the Fed is now like the largest owner of real estate ever. They have like $1.3 trillion worth of real estate, or is that right?
Something 1.3, and that equates to, if you say like the average home is like 247 or 250 to 270,000, or sorry, something like that, $270,000. If you kind of divide that's they own like 5.5 million homes.
So if you have a mortgage, most likely you're paying the Fed and you're paying them interest for the money they just printed out of nothing. It costs them nothing to own your house and to gain an income from the interest that you are paying on your mortgage.
I don't know how people are cool with this. I don't know, like...
Well, luckily they have a lot more pressing, or, seemingly pressing matters to worry about, like toilet paper or, when they can go to the gym next. So.
I guess, yeah. I mean, like I said before, like, this is just my opinion, but I think this virus or this economic collapse will kill more people than the virus itself. Yeah. I mean, it's going to force people to do crazy things. Here, let me show you this as well. This is from Bill Gates. And I did a lot of research on this, or quite a bit. And this is pretty much what he's trying to do. He's trying to give people digital certificates.
Microchipping.
Right? Microchipping. Okay, so which can show who has been tested for the coronavirus and who has been vaccinated against it. So he's probably going to push this all around the world.
They have been they've been talking about microchipping people for several years now.
This is a great excuse.
They finally have a legitimate reason, which it's not, by the way, to force this kind of control on people. It's really sickening. He's literally jumping at the bit to be able to microchip people.
Yes, that's my worst fear, because...
talk about privacy invasion.
You don't know what's in this vaccine. Yeah. Especially coming from the Gates Foundation. Don't even get me into that family. Yeah. Anyways, so this is really dangerous. I don't know if there is what is in these vaccines. Somebody would have to literally take it apart.
Right off the bat, they're probably wanting to be quick about turning out a vaccine, but you're not going to know the outcome of that vaccine until
years later.
Who knows how long it's going to take?
Yeah. So I mean, so I'm just saying right now, like, for me, that's what scares me. Like, being forced. Once you're forced to do something to your body, when somebody is forcing something on you and to your body, actually your health and stuff, that's pure enslavement right there.
Yeah.
Like, having given people a choice, fine. But as far as making people do that, that's what scares me. That's pure tyranny. Once they have that control over your life, they have 100% control over your life.
The most realistic way that they would kind of enforce that is through like bottlenecks, which would be probably travel centers, what do you call it? Airports.
Yeah. And
train centers and things like they won't let you travel unless you have one. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Hopefully this virus will blow over, and then the real trouble of the economy collapsing will make that.
I don't know. I think people are so scared that fear will make people do different things. Yeah. Like, fear causes people to sell Bitcoin or sell whatever asset they have indiscriminately. They'll just I don't care what it is, just get me out of it. So you have a rush to the door. So there probably will be a rush to the door for people wanting vaccines. I've already seen some of my friends that actually would be like cool with it. And I'm just like, wow. So if these are my friends that I've talked to and that I've tried to influence over the years, that they are still willing, that they're willing to do that to themselves, like go through that, then I mean, I just like whatever. That's
Yeah. Well,
it seems inevitable. I don't know. Like maybe I hope I'm
feel
wrong.
like I feel like it's because people have. Okay, I feel like there's a market difference between U.S. citizens and their trust in government versus those around the world. Certainly, not every country's citizens are as trusting of their government as U.S. citizens, because U.S. citizens are a part of the USA, which is tied to the Federal Reserve and their infinite money printing. And so for them, I think deep down, whether they know that's why or not, they have this like kind of deep down trust that everything will always work out okay, because they are America is the greatest. They have the biggest military. They have the world reserve currency. So like for them, it's, I think, really ground in their memories.
I should also say, like, it's not their fault either as much, because, I mean, if you guys remember going to, say, like, first or fifth grade or whatever in school, you're pledging allegiance to the flag, so you're essentially pledging allegiance to your government. You're taught by government workers. You're taught like, hey, this is
in their experience, they haven't experienced real trouble due to their government's mismanagement of whatever. So
I mean, they can read about it, but I mean, reading about it is different than actually living through something like this.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, anyway, before we get too far into that,
well, let me go over the stimulus checks that they're going to be sending you. $75,000.
So it's depending on how much money you're earning yearly.
If your income's $75,000, you get $1,200. If your income is $80,000, you get $950. If your income is $85,700, $90,000, you'll get $450. $95,000, you'll get $200. $99,000 and on, you'll get $0. So yeah, that's what they'll do with part of the $6 trillion bailout package, pretty much. So they're going to give you a little bit of that.
So like a quarter of it goes to the U.S. citizens, and everything else is going to go to the big.
Oh, and that's companies. Just the beginning. Okay, so I personally think this is going to be what now they're saying is a temporary measure. I think this is going to end up permanently. Now, I could be wrong. I hope I am, but I think that this could be a permanent thing where they're giving their citizens this like little bit of money each time. So this is only the beginning, though, because like they're bailing out giant corporations. They're bailing out corporate debt. So this is just $6 trillion that's the start.
Well, yeah, they already,
you can expect hundreds of trillions coming.
Quantitative easing, so.
Oh yeah.
They're not really.
So, like I said, expect hundreds of trillions by the end of this. I mean,
what, 6 months? A year?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's a couple weeks in.
Since I always forget to say this in the videos, if you guys are enjoying this conversation, if you think it's valuable, we certainly appreciate it if you leave a like, if you share this out so other people can tune in, be a part of the conversation, say hi, and listen to what we have to say.
And check if you're unsubscribed from Heidi.
Yeah, go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Or make
because
sure
I think people are being unsubscribed from you.
It's happened in the past, but anyway. Okay. So let's talk about. So in our past streams, we've suggested that people get their hands on some cash, try to get out of debt, get their hands on some Bitcoin while it's dipping, and some precious metals as always. So what have you been hearing about this bullion dealers recently? Like even our last live stream on Monday, people were reporting that they couldn't even find physical silver in their local shops. So is that the news all around?
I mean, that's what I see like everywhere. Just people, they don't have anything left.
Yeah, at least on a small scale.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing up to 14 weeks delivery. 14 weeks, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And plus, you have miners as well that are mining this gold and silver.
And it's hard for them to get to
off.
Work. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're not going to work. So you have no supply. You have a Fed that is printing up whatever. And you have a COMEX, LBMA, and a CME group that are manipulating the price downwards. Like something's going to give, in my opinion. I mean, and so even if you don't like, I found if you're having trouble getting gold from dealers or whatever, and you kind of want it to be really liquid, I found one Pax G or Pax Gold.
Yeah.
Is one of them. Do you have any more of these?
Gold-backed stable coins.
Yeah, gold-backed stable
with cryptocurrencies.
So that could be an interesting.
But it's the same for them. They're not going to be able to issue new coins to reflect their incoming supply, because just like physical gold and silver, their incoming supply, like bullion dealers, it's not coming in. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's more liquid on crypto exchanges getting them, but when it comes to issuing more cryptos for like that are backed by physical gold, same issues, but that means more valuable. So those who are already into it, those who have been commenting, suggesting these gold-backed stable coins on this channel for a while now, I've been seeing several people comment about that. You're probably doing well with that investment.
Well, also like in 1933, the U.S. asked for people's gold back. They didn't make it illegal for people to not have gold, but it's more of like a patriotic thing. So, I mean, who knows how far they'll actually go with future measures. I mean, they could try to confiscate people's gold. I mean, I would expect it to start in the U.S. and then make its way elsewhere, but I don't know about holding. I've always been kind of scared to hold my assets in a place like the United States because of how insolvent it actually is and how indebted they actually are and how much people worship government over there. So I've always been like, okay, I kind of want to have like a place where I can hold gold or silver or, my assets elsewhere. That's why I never bought real estate in the U.S. I just didn't want it.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't think crypto is like second to precious metals, but as the supply of precious metals are giving out, I think people are those who maybe aren't necessarily on the crypto, in the know of the crypto, they're going to maybe have to turn, in their eyes, they'd be having to turn to something like Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies when they're looking for a safe haven out of this crazy economic situation that we're in right now. So, it could also, this running out of physical gold and silver could work very well for crypto as well. So,
well, this person asks, how does it affect me? I have a small mortgage. I am from Southeast Asia country with 10% interest after decreasing this month, but I own real estate. Okay, I mean, if you don't have Bitcoin, if you don't have any exposure to Bitcoin, probably get that before paying off. I mean, sorry, I should say, if I were in your shoes, this isn't financial advice, I would be purchasing Bitcoin if I didn't have any. If I didn't have any exposure to any of these assets, because I think in the long run, I think that if you're holding onto, say, Bitcoin, gold, silver, whatever, you'll be a lot better off, and you'll be able to, the value of it will increase over time way more than your payments or whatever. So I think your payments will be way less, at least for me. Like if I was going to do that, that would be my strategy, is to kind of overcompensate that through purchase of gold, Bitcoin, silver, whatever.
So kind of use this potential upside for precious metals or for crypto to
buy off everything,
take off your
and then buy more as well, because I think that Bitcoin, it only has 21 million. We have a halvening coming up. The Fed is increasing its balance sheet by exponential, and there's no free market. And also, like, people are going to experience inflation at the end of this as well. So it's pretty much I think it's a perfect storm for Bitcoin and other cryptos. So I don't think all cryptos are going to be great. I think there's a lot of, like I said,
it's an option that we didn't have before in 2008. So it'll be really interesting to see how it's being used. or,
Yeah.
viewed in the long run.
Yeah.
So it's still really, like, as always, super speculative, even now with everything that we're seeing develop. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious that people take a lot of safe haven in gold and silver because they're running out. But with crypto, it's still a kind of a waiting game to see how people are going to value that.
So what could we do now with BTC assets, money, cash? I mean, I would just wait.
Just hold.
Like for me, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna sit on it. I have my core position. I have some bids at 4,000 and under. So if it goes that low, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if it drops. I have people that are freaking out right now, like, oh my gosh, if it drops under $4,000, it's over. Like that's Bitcoin failing because this is what Bitcoin is made for. Yeah, it is what it's made for, but you have to understand that, people are selling this stuff, okay, because they need to raise dollars. All right, that's part of the reason, plus manipulation and all this other stuff. But that's only going to go so far. So you have to understand what's actually coming down the pike. Mm-hmm. Like we're going to have some serious inflation, and a halving coming up. And I mean, when you decrease the supply in half, mm-hmm. like that's coming out every day, then it's going to definitely increase in price over time. So it's the beauty of Bitcoin, I think. That's going to drag the entire other crypto market up. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh.
Go for it.
Do you want to go over this?
Okay.
Some other...
Well, let's go over a couple more like news articles. So the U.S. loses 500 millionaires as coronavirus pandemic erodes fortunes of ultra wealthy. Okay, so there's 11 million millionaires in America, and 500,000 have been lost already. This is 2 weeks into it. Okay. U.S. consumer sentiment falls to the lowest level in more than 3 years, obviously. Let's see. So the Federal Reserve balance sheet has soared past $5 trillion. That means they're buying up everything. These guys I hear a lot of people saying, oh, the Fed's done. This is it. No more Fed after this. Well, they're buying everything. Mm. So the more they buy, the stronger they get. All right. I think this is a understanding for a lot of people. Like they're going to own mostly everything in the world. They can print whatever they want, and central banks around the world will gladly go along with it. So, this is really dangerous. You want to own something because they're going to own most of everything else. So like owning Bitcoin, gold, silver, whatever, these are things that you'll actually own. That they can't actually take from you unless, like with gold or whatever and silver, unless they're some other place that you've hidden. With Bitcoin, you can hide it in your head, so they can't actually take that from you. And that should double soon, though. So 5 trillion balance sheet will go up to 7 to 10 to 20. I mean, we've just begun. So... okay, let me go over global trade as well. Okay, so this is kind of what creates dollar shortages out there. So people are like, well, when's, liquidity crisis going to end? Well, not anytime soon. Let me go over this. Okay, so world trade is plummeting in terms of cargo volumes. Okay, so the world's busiest port is Shanghai Port. Okay, they're down 20%. Okay, just in February. LA down 23% in February. Hong Kong down 11% in February. Port of Savannah 20%, down 20% in March. U.S. imports from China. Okay, U.S. imports from China down 45% on the first first 2 weeks of March. Like, yeah, the global economy, like people say, well, you're overreacting, you're being a fearmonger or whatever. I'm sorry, but this is collapse. This is pure collapse. Whatever anybody says elsewise, they don't know what they're talking about. So plus, you combine that with almost $3 million or million people losing their jobs, like, or sign up for unemployment. That's just the people that could actually do that because they're so backlogged. Yeah. And yeah, so this is horrible. Okay. So let me also read this as well. I'm an economic. I love this stuff. Okay. So value of global bonds have plunged by 5 trillion to 55.5 trillion in the past 2 weeks. That equals to the GDP of Japan. So, I mean, bonds are plunging. There's a lot of trouble ahead, and there's nothing that money printing can do. Not this $6 trillion. That's not going to do anything. So, yeah, they're just going to try to do this as much as possible until the very end. And I think Mises once wrote this. The crack up, okay, so once inflation starts, it'll happen within a very short time, within a few weeks or a few days. The things that were once used as money are no longer used as a medium of exchange. They become scrap paper. And this screws people up in their heads as well, because any time that they are able to get cash, they're going to spend it right away on anything that they can possibly spend it on before the currency is going to drop. So that's the very end of this that I see. I don't see how they're going to stave off inflation with all this money printing. Yeah.
So it's like a slow motion car crash that we don't get to be rubbernecking about.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Jeez.
So anyway, on a lighter note, let's take a look at maybe some unforeseen outcomes of all of this quarantine. Because initially, here in Portugal at least, it was going to be a 2-week quarantine. Now they've extended that to be indefinite. I think the government here is predicting the peak number of cases in Portugal to be hitting around mid-April. So probably quarantine will last at least a month after that. So what are we seeing an increase of that isn't funny to laugh about? It's actually really sad. Like divorce lawyers.
Yeah.
2 weeks and people are already ready to get divorced.
I'm seeing articles of like,
That's insane.
A lot of people are going crazy, and divorce lawyers are ramping up. So.
But I mean, it is kind of evidence of this mindset that, like, this throwaway mindset where you don't work on a problem. What? Or also maybe people were working so much they barely saw their spouses, and now they're
stuck with them.
Yeah. Well,
they got to deal with their problems.
What have you always said about couples who travel together?
I mean, if you can travel together, then
you can probably be okay.
You'd probably be okay. That's, yeah.
Yeah. Especially international travel with like long stays and crappy hostels and long over layovers.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thoughts on SDRs, standing drive, right? I have no idea. Yeah. What else?
Okay. Also, like, a lot of YouTubers have been pivoting, of course, us included. We're definitely covering much more broad strokes economics rather than just cryptocurrency space to address. Number one, I think it's important to understand this because it is going to play an effect on the cryptocurrency space. But also, I think it's good for people to understand what's happening, and these news articles that are coming out about what the Fed are doing, it shouldn't just be like, oh, the Fed is printing $6 trillion. That's cool. No, it means something. It's going to be huge implications for you. So anyway, YouTubers are doing like workouts at home, or like how to make a good meal out of your pantry and things like this. So maybe people are going to learn how to cook from home. Maybe they're going to stop eating McDonald's so much. Maybe people are going to be healthier.
Probably.
Maybe learn to be a little more self-sufficient.
But then again, if you, not to be too doomy here, but once a depression happens and people start losing their jobs and people are losing their businesses because they can't afford pay their employees or overhead or anything like that. You're going to see suicides like going through the roof. This is really unfortunate, just because that's what they had. That's what they've worked their whole lives for, and now they're losing it all like almost overnight within 2 weeks, and they're forced to lose it. It's not just like they lost business because of something bad they've done or whatever, but they're being forced to lose this. And it's a hard decision for people because like, do you allow people to go and open up business and risk getting sick, or do you quarantine them and kill their businesses anyways? And it's a really hard decision. Like, how many people are going to die either way, like from this debt bubble that's going to burst? Like, there's going to be a lot. I think there's like I said over and over again, I think there's going to be more people that are going to die because of this collapse than the virus. I can't see it on any other way. So yeah, this is going to affect more people than any virus could possibly ever affect. And a lot of people might give me a hard time for saying that, but I mean, come on, just think of the ramifications of what's happening right now. Like, I'm having our friends in Indonesia and like other places around the world are suffering right now. They're like, they don't have any money to spend on their families and stuff. And like, some of our friends just had kids and stuff, and yeah, they don't have their jobs. They just started a business over there in Bali, and
but it's also, I mean, it's also that cliche thing of like, money's not really what matters, it's family. And maybe, forcing everyone to be home and to take away what was previously frivolous, like going out all the time or, driving around, like maybe it'll bring people back together, and maybe it could go either way with things like anxiety or depression. Obviously losing your job and having an uncertain future is certainly enough to make anyone depressed or anxious. But I don't know, maybe hopefully for some people it'll turn and it'll give you more of like a reminder of what really matters, and that's like family and loved ones and quality time. And
sure,
not to get too mushy-gushy.
Yeah, no, it's true. So, I mean, but what's guaranteed is life isn't going to be the same after this.
Oh, no.
So.
But, coming from the Midwest, we have a saying about wintertime and the bad weather. It builds character. So we're all going to come away with a whole lot of character after this, and maybe, be a little bit more self-sufficient in one way or another is not bad at all.
But, well, I should also say, like, getting caught up with news, understanding what's actually happening out there is going to it's going to make you so much more prepared, with what Heidi teaches in her courses, and whether like her YouTube channel, like she's like genuinely teaching you great things. Like
I almost forgot to mention it.
Yeah. But like for instance, like how to take care of your finances. That's Heidi's freaking genius at that.
Yeah.
So like understanding which coins as well, like yeah, both of us like have quite a good understanding on like what coins are most likely going to make it, and which coins, like maybe like some coins I will stay away from. I'm not going to mention which ones, but it's because I just see the risk reward ratio in other places, and yeah, so keep posted on this channel and you'll be fine. I think. I mean, you're going to be doing better than the average person who's doesn't know what the heck is going to hit them after this virus, after they have to look for another job, or whatever. So, yeah. You want to mention the
Yeah, I meant to kick off this channel talking about it, but with all of this happening, I think it's really good to get some classes, like kind of live discussions of me really explaining how to store your cryptocurrencies correctly. definitely a pivot point from what we were just talking about. But so for those who are members of my Patreon page and who've been supporting me and this channel through that, I've been immensely grateful. And because of that, next week I will be offering a free live kind of class or tutorial explaining all of the different types of wallets that you can use to store your cryptocurrencies, and kind of some tips and tricks that I've learned through my journey of having to use these. They're not all perfect, and they certainly don't all work as you would hope. So hopefully this class will help you when you come across a speed bump or a hiccup in your process of using these wallets. Hopefully this class can also help you with that. So if you are interested, you can go ahead and check out, I don't have the link, I'll put it in the video description once this video is done, but for my Patreon page, for those of you who want to join and be a part of that live class, it's free. For those who want to join, again, that information will be posted on my Patreon page for you guys. So, yeah, that's what I definitely wanted to make sure I said that. I meant to say it in the beginning of this live and in my previous one, but Here we are. Those of you sticking around to the end, there's your reward.
Definitely.
So, cool. All right. What? Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and participating in the live chat. I'll be coming to you guys again soon with another crypto-focused video very soon in the next few days. In the meantime, check out my Patreon page and for my announcements regarding that live class. It will be a somewhat regular thing, but this will be the first time I'm doing it. I haven't announced the date yet, but again, that will be found on Patreon and also on learningcrypto.com. That is our website regarding this kind of content as well.
Write it down.
So I believe if you just go to patreon.com and search crypto tips, I should pop up there. But yeah, just to be sure, I'll be posting a link to that in the video description of this live channel soon enough. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you're hanging on there and you are positioning yourself in the best way possible for this scenario.
So we will be like, I'll be getting like the most important news that's coming out right now. And I'll kind of just clump it all together and kind of explain to you what's going on next live.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I'll do.
So we'll see you soon. In the meantime, hope you guys stay happy and healthy. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.